This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Wisdom Wednesday. And we've got a great one for you today, folks. I'm telling you, today, this is one that I've been loving. Let me give us a little bit more space here. Okay, good. All right. This is a program that I've been loving because I think many of us experience this very often. And our topic for today, this is actually going to be a two-part series. We're going to do part one today, Wednesday, and Wisdom Wednesday, and we're going to do part two on Friday with Fantastic Friday. And the reason I'm giving two parts, two programs to this topic is I think that we need it. And our topic for today is getting rid of negative people. Woo-hoo! Uh-oh. I know we have said something that struck a bell. Getting rid of negative people. And as you know, it's all based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. Chapter 9 is the law of relationships. And this presentation, this thought takes chapter 9 to the next level. So getting rid of negative people. Let me tell you something. Marilyn Monroe said something very powerful about negative people. She said, cutting negative people out of my life does not mean that I hate them. It simply means that I respect me. Cutting negative people out of my life does not mean that I hate them, but it means that I respect me. That's a powerful thought, folks. Because when we are when we permit, and the operative word is permit, when we permit negative people to be in our lives, they suck away our energy. They steal our dreams. Hey, Martin, thanks for joining us. Tiffany, thank you for joining us. If there's one thing that will cause your failure, your disappointments, is permitting negative people to come into your life. You know, we often talk about the ship of life, that we are actually like a ship on the river of time. And on that ship, we have a rudder, which guides our ship, our principles, our core values. We have an engine, our desire that gives us the power to move when there's nothing else there, just deep desire. We have the sails, which are attitude, the same wind that blows on one ship and blows it over, pushes your ship ahead, attitude. And then we have a crew. And when we let people onto our ship who are negative, who don't love us, who don't care about us, it impedes our progress. So we're going to talk about how to get rid of negative people. Number one, there are 9 ways. We're going to do the first 4 today. Number 1, be clear about who you are, what you're about, and what you're worth. Be clear about who you are, what you're about, and what you're worth. You see, you have to have a frame of reference for yourself so that when other people interact with you, you have a standard by which to judge them. You see, when you know your full potential, the true value of your talents, the true value of your relationship, each and every one of you should say to yourselves, anybody who has a relationship with me is getting a great blessing because I'm a good person, because I'm a talented person, because I'm a loving person. Be clear about the value of your talents. Recognize that you are a special person with boundless capacity for love, for health, for happiness, for abundance, for all good things. That's a powerful piece, folks. Because if you're not clear about who you are, then people can come into your space and disrupt you. They can steal your dreams. So, number 1, be clear about who you are, what you're about, and your self-worth. Number 2, know how to identify negative people. You know, sometimes they say that we were, some of us grew up in a storybook world. You know, you didn't meet some of the bad people in life, and so we may go through life somewhat naively. But know negative people by their fruits. You know, I love to use biblical principle. I'm not a religious person, a spiritual person. I love to use biblical principle to explain things. And so there's a scripture that says, you know the tree by its fruit. So you know negative people by their fruit. What are some of the things that negative people do that let you know who they are? Pay attention, because I guarantee you there are at least 3 people in your life right now who have these characteristics. Number 1, they try to control you. Negative people are the kind of people that will, I'm coming by your house tomorrow. Now, they don't even know what you have to do tomorrow, but they'll come by your house unexpectedly. That's a disrespect for you and for what you have to do. So negative people try to control you. When you meet people who try to control you, that's a sign they may be a negative person. Number 2, negative people disregard your boundaries. And that's why it's so important to know who you are and what you're about first. Because if you don't know who you are and what you're about, you may not have any boundaries. If you don't have boundaries, people will run right over you. I mean, they'll just impact, they'll put their will on you, put their desires on you, take whatever you have. So it's critical to know yourself and know your boundaries, because then when people disregard your boundaries, that lets you know this is a negative person. Okay, it's Free Yourself. Thanks for joining us. Solomon, thanks for joining us. When people disregard your boundaries, they're disrespecting who you are. Another sign of a negative person, they take without giving. There are people who, whenever you see them, they're taking. I need this. I need that. I need help. Can you please? That's a negative person. When they take without giving, see, the law of life is reciprocity. As they say, give and take. But when you have people who only take but do not give, negative person. This is a big one. Negative people are always right. When you have a friend who's always right. I have a relative and I have a friend who's always right. It's amazing. It's like they always have a way of being right in their minds. When they're always right, it's really a way of disrespecting your opinion. Negative people love to be victims. You know, many times when you stand up for yourself and say, hey, I won't tolerate that. You can't treat me this way. They'll become the victim. Oh, I thought you loved me. I thought you cared about me. I thought you were my friend. Negative people love to be victims. They lack accountability. Isn't it interesting? I have a friend and they have sent me requests for money probably 8 times. And each time they sent a request, they say, oh, Dr. Harris, this is the last time. Because I tell them, you know, for a while, this is like really a son of a friend of mine. And I say, you know, I never hear from you until you need something. Oh, I'm sorry, and I'm going to pay you back. Listen, I promise, I'm going to pay you back. I think it's about 7 times. Well, the 8th time, guess what? The store was closed. And you know what shocked me, but it shouldn't have? That when I said no, I mean, they were like, oh, Dr. Harris, I mean, I said, no, 7 times. You've told me the same thing. I've been a fool 6 times. So no. Do you know they then got angry and talked bad about me? Told people how Dr. Harris is cheap. He doesn't have money. That's all a front. He doesn't have any money. He's cheap. Isn't that interesting? The person who helped you 7 times, the moment you stop. So this is a lesson to all of us. Know negative people by how they make you feel. I think it was Maya Angelou said, I may not remember what you said, I may not remember what you did, but I'll always remember how you made me feel. Negative people take up your time. Negative people take up your energy. When you recognize and identify negative people, you put yourself in a situation now where you know them by their fruits. Trust your judgment. Your inner voice tells you this is somebody you should not be around. Accept that and move on. Number 3, don't expect them to change. You know, when people do you wrong and you check them on it, they say, oh man, I'm so sorry. I will never do that again. I promise I will never do that again. Guess what? You cannot make people change. That's their choice. And sometimes our ego will get us so jacked up about it that we will endure all kinds of negativity, thinking that we can really help that person, when really and truly they're beyond our help. They need help on another level. People will say they want to change, but once again, know them by their fruit. Number 4, establish and maintain your boundaries. You see, people are a lot like water. When water comes into an area, it goes wherever there is nothing. In other words, water fills every empty space. Air does the same, fills every empty space. If you have no boundaries, and even worse, if you have boundaries but then don't maintain them, then you're setting yourself up to be hurt by negative people. See, it's critical that you decide what you will or will not tolerate. See, that's in your hands. That's your power. You decide what you will or will not tolerate. Sandra says, I won't tolerate a liar. I want to hear the truth. If you lie, you're out. Okay. There are people who hurt your feelings. Anybody who's apologizing to you in a fairly consistent manner, run. As a matter of fact, Ben Franklin had a great quote. Mark Twain said, Mark Twain said, don't walk away from negative people, run. Don't walk away from negative people, run. Once you have your boundaries, once you know what you will and will not do, what you will and will not tolerate, maintain it, no exceptions. I recommend that you sit down and make a list of your personal boundaries. Make a list of the things that are critical and important to you and say, anybody that I deal with has to respect A, B, C, and D. I will do this, that, and the other. I will not do this. I will not, like say Steve Harvey, I will not get into a physical relationship in less than 90 days with any person. I will not loan money. I will not go to another person. I will not let a person come to my house when I haven't seen their house. Once you establish your boundaries and maintain them, you have now set the tone for the life that you live. You've now set the tone. Once people understand your boundaries, now they have to make a decision. You know, one of my friends curses all the time. One day I just found said, I don't appreciate your cursing. I don't mean anything by it. Well, then fine, don't do it around me. And a couple of times they did, and I said, hey, I said, hey, as I said, brother, if you're going to curse, you got to leave. Interesting thing is they don't come around that much anymore. That could be a blessing. All right, folks. Well, we've covered a lot today. This idea of recognizing negative people and eliminating negative people from your life is one of the most critical things you can do on your success journey. So let me just review these 4. And then on Friday, we will go through the others so that you'll have all 9 ways to eliminate negative people. Number 1, be clear about who you are and what you're worth. Number 2, identify negative people by their fruit, by how they make you feel, by how they disregard your boundaries. Number 3, don't expect people to change. Recognize that you don't have the power to change one thing about anybody. It's in their hands. And number 4, establish and maintain your boundaries, what you will and will not do, so that anybody who interacts with you has to respect your boundaries. If they cannot respect your boundaries, then they must get out of your space. So folks, we went on a little longer than normal today, but I wanted to get this to you because my spirit told me that many of you are dealing with negative people. Many of you, as you begin to complete this second half of the year, there are people in your life that can't make the journey with you. They've been telling you, and more than telling you, they have been showing you that. And it's time for you to stand up and say, hey, not that I don't love you, but right now, based on where I'm going, this is not going to work. Take care. This has been Dr. Herbert Harris. Don't forget, get your copy of the 12 Universal Laws of Success. This is your recipe book for change. Go to our website, www.herbertharris.info, www.herbertharris.info, and check out our book. The 12 Universal Laws of Success is available on Amazon. You can click on the link in our website and go straight and get your copy. Number 2, there's a home study course. Many times people learn at a different rate. And so now the home study course gives you the ability, the new you for the new year. And it's critical right now because we have about 5 more months to close out this year. And you can take that course and help you become more focused to give you the outcome you want at the end of this year. Also, we're writing a new book dealing with some of the challenges of life. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love those of you who think you have a story, those of you who feel that you have overcome, you have met Goliath and whipped his butt. Email me at herbert@herbertharris.com. I get you some more of the information about the program. But this is going to be a new book that's going to be in the Christmas market this year. So email me, herbert@herbertharris.com. Meanwhile, folks, let's close out in our normal way. Here we go. Let these troubled days be done. I tell you, come on, everybody. Come on, everyone. The time to love is here. Let these troubled days. See you on Friday for part 2. Fantastic Friday, part 2 of getting rid of negative people. And so it is.